But back at Edinburgh University, as part of their series of experiments looking at national identity and decision-making, Professor Laura Cram's team are using an fMRI scanner to see to what extent national identity really matters to people, irrespective of how much they say it doesn't.
We were trying to find out if there was a difference between what you said and what your body showed. This current project that we're doing combines both attitudes, so what people say, and physiology, what their bodies show, and what happens at the neural level in their brains to see how those three correlate with one another and whether perhaps they even tell different stories. There's been some really interesting research which is very, very parallel, we think, on race and on the way in which individuals who, on any request to identify themselves on scales of racism, etc., will say they're absolutely not racist. But when you do a test on their behaviour, they found that people empathise most with their own group.
Are you still okay there, Emma?
In this experiment, our volunteer Emma is going to do a pain empathy test to see how much pain she reckons the folk in the film are in. What she doesn't know is that before she sees each face, a subliminal image of a Scottish or English national flag might appear.
We're expecting to find in our work is that kind of nuance on national identity, that we have groups that we are more empathetic with, groups that we are a bit more empathetic with, and groups that we're going to see as complete outsiders, and that our ability to rationalise is affected by some of those emotional responses.
So what are you doing here?
So we're just running the localisers to begin with, so we've got some images to plan the main scans from. So these are just a single slice through her brain, just in the 3 different planes, like 3D really. You're doing really well. Okay, just going to set up the first main scan. It'll be for about 5 minutes.
What we're seeing now is Emma's brain in some detail. What we're going to see is, well, what's going on in there in terms of blood flow.
Yeah, we're going to see activity while she's doing the task.
So these images are remarkable in themselves, and thanks very much for them. But this is, if you like, the medical physics going on here. But neuropolitics is beginning as well.
Hello.
Oh, Katie.
Hi.
What's happening here?
We want to see if Scottish people empathise more with other Scottish people than they would with people of another nationality, for example, in this case, English. So we're monitoring what her brain is doing while she's making these decisions. So she doesn't only have to decide kind of how painful she thinks it is. At the same time, her brain is going to be sort of thinking about this and working out her responses, and we will be able to see what it was that her brain was doing while she was making these decisions.
So what, I feel like, is the basis of this test? What are you founding it on?
We know that people's decisions change, but what we don't know is why or what's going on in our brains when that's happening. So this is just trying to take it to the next level so we can see what sort of brain networks are activated, parts of the brain that are activated more or less when we see nationality cues, so we can get a bit of a better understanding of what's going on when we make these political decisions.